The destruction inflicted by Israeli airstrikes on Syria's capital city was evident, according to CBS News. Israel has stated that it is committed to destroy the weapons and other military equipment that the overthrown ruler Bashar al-Assad and his father amassed over the course of 50 years in order to prevent radicals from obtaining them. Since Assad fled to Russia earlier this month due to a surprising rebel attack following 10 years of civil conflict that had, until 2 weeks ago, mostly come to a standstill, the Israeli military has been hammering Syrian military infrastructure non-stop. Assad's ancient war machine has suffered enormous damage. For example, one impact in the seaside city of Tartus overnight was so large that a Turkish scientist was cited by the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights Monitoring Group as stating it registered as a Category 3 earthquake on the Richter scale. Tartus was Russia's sole significant naval base outside of its borders until Assad, an ally of Moscow, abandoned Syria. In talks with the country's new de facto rebel rulers, the Russian Ministry of Defense said Monday that it was still deciding what to do about its military equipment and personnel in the country, despite satellite imagery below showing the majority of Russian ships quickly leaving the Tartus port after Assad fell. Meanwhile, Israel's military claims to have destroyed the majority of Assad's air defenses and heavy weaponry. Syria's most strategic weapons, including fighter jets and helicopters, Scud missiles, UAVs, cruise missiles, surface-to-sea precision-guided missiles, surface-to-air missiles, surface-to-surface missiles, radars, rockets, and more, have suffered significant damage in recent days, according to a statement released by the Israel Defense Forces on Monday. The IDF claimed that over 90% of the identified strategic surface-to-air missiles of the overthrown regime had been destroyed by its operations. Israeli forces have also launched a ground invasion into a previously demilitarized buffer zone within Syria, which extends past the occupied Golan Heights region, following the rebel organization Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, taking over Syria with lightning a week ago. The leader of HTS and Syria's new de facto leader, Ahmed al-Sharia, has denounced what he called Israel's uncalculated military adventures, claiming that he and his group, which was an al-Qaeda affiliate prior to publicly distancing itself from extremist ideology, were more concerned with state-building than starting a new war with Israel. Targeting Syria's military installations has also exposed Assad's severe neglect. The nation's military forces had been weakened by years of corruption and a decade of civil conflict, which helped bring down his rule. When his troops gave up to the rebels or just threw off their uniforms and fled, they left behind a lot of outdated and obviously poorly maintained equipment. Meanwhile, the first statement credited to the ousted leader since he had to leave his nation was released by Assad's office. He states that he never thought about leaving or resigning, but that as the rebels closed in, he sought refuge at the Russian-run air base at Haifa. He claims that on December 8th, the day after the HTS rebels captured the capital Damascus, an evacuation was ordered after the facility was subjected to a persistent drone attack. There was nothing further he could do in Syria, he said, and he finally left for Russia, regretting the country's descent into the hands of terrorism. Several failed attempts to distribute the message through Arabic and foreign media channels were followed by a note stating that it had been posted to the Syrian presidency's official channel on the Telegram messaging app. But without providing an explanation, the remark was swiftly removed from the Telegram channel before resurfacing there and on the president's Facebook page. Israel and the United States have remained largely focused on securing Assad's arsenal of weapons, while the rest of the international community is still attempting to figure out how to deal with HTS, which has stated that it will respect Syrians of all religions and seems determined to be viewed as a secular interim administration. However, the group has not stated what will happen to the country after a 3-month transitional period. The fiercest bombings Israel has launched in Syria in years have continued Monday, a little more than a week after Assad's abrupt exit. A largely destroyed military apparatus will be left behind by whoever ends up ruling Syria. On Monday, the IDF said the strikes were a significant achievement for the Israeli Air Force's superiority in the region, which may be just what it wanted.